Watching this video of a William E. Donaldson prison inmate wearing a correction officer's vest and waving a gun with other inmates in the same room.
They could have easily 10, 15 people with that gun. It looked like to me he was trying to get a message out.
Alabama Department of Correction says Darryl Shaw is charged with promoting prison contraband, possessing contraband certain people aren't allowed to have, and terroristic threats. In a 22-minute video, that same man goes on a rant about issues inmates in the Donaldson prison are dealing with.
They create the conditions so that we die.
George suggests state leaders hire retired officers, pay them very well to help with the staffing issues.
Right now, live at 5, the Alabama Department of Corrections says the Donaldson Correctional Facility is back to somewhat normalcy with what they were calling a controlled movement.
Now, that lockdown, of course, as you know, put in place after an incident on Sunday morning. This video surfacing yesterday on social media appears to show an inmate wearing a staff uniform.
The county's coroner office says LaShawn White was found unresponsive in his cell on Monday. He was taken to that facility's infirmary where he was pronounced dead.
Red-handed, a Department of Corrections officer admits to smuggling contraband, including drugs and cell phones, inside an Alabama prison after getting cold hard cash from inmates in exchange.
That former officer worked down at Donaldson Correctional Facility.
That former officer, William Clemens, encountered an unexpected checkpoint set up outside the prison there. Court documents paint the picture from there. A canine found cell phones, pot, scales, cigars, and Xanax. And another former ADOC veteran officer telling me the contraband problem, it's everywhere inside these critically understaffed facilities. Wilson Clemens used a Cash App account to accept thousands of dollars in bribe payments using a display name, Mario Lopez. And the inmate on the other end saved Clemens' name in his phone as Granddaddy Otis. For months, they worked out what the inmates needed and how they'd get it inside before Clemens got caught.
Authorities say a Donaldson inmate was. Authorities say 33-year-old Cedric Watts was stabbed Sunday morning inside the prison.
Worker at Donaldson Correctional Facility is behind bars for allegedly trying to bring in contraband.
The Alabama Department of Corrections says that an officer is recovering after being stabbed at the William Donaldson Correctional Facility in Bessemer. That happened around midnight during a search of an inmate's cell. Officials say the officer found contraband and was stabbed while questioning 32-year-old Sean Baker. Officer has a head wound and defensive wounds.
Serving a life sentence on a Madison County murder conviction is dead. The Alabama Department of Corrections confirms Joseph Mitchell was found unresponsive in his dormitory at Donaldson Correctional Facility in Bessemer Sunday.
Located in Bessemer, Alabama, the William E. Donaldson Correctional Facility has earned the grim nickname the House of Pain. Originally built in the 1980s as a maximum security prison, Donaldson houses many of Alabama's most dangerous inmates, including men serving life without parole and those with histories of violence. It is also home to the state's largest solitary confinement unit. In recent years, Donaldson has gained national attention not for controlling violence, but for fostering it. By 2022, the prison had one of the highest deletion rates in the country, with overcrowding and critical staff shortages fueling the crisis. Designed for 968 inmates, it was holding nearly 1,400 by mid-2022. On many nights, a single officer monitored the entire facility from a control gate while dormitories were left unsupervised. This lack of oversight created a dangerous power vacuum where violence went unchecked. Tragic stories like that of DeAndre Roney, who was stabbed to death in June 2024 after repeated pleas for protection, illustrate the human cost of this neglect. His death was one of 4 in a single 3-day span. At Donaldson, inmates often live in fear, sometimes resorting to stitching each other's wounds due to lack of medical care and fear of reporting injuries. Donaldson's problems reflect the broader crisis in Alabama's prison system. Officers have both suffered and inflicted violence, with past incidents like the 2010 beating death of Rockras Mack at Ventress Correctional Facility revealing a deeply broken culture. At Donaldson, excessive force by staff has occurred, but more common is institutional abandonment. Dorms left unguarded and prisoners left to fend for themselves. The Department of Justice has repeatedly cited Donaldson in reports highlighting the systemic issues of overcrowding, understaffing, and inhumane conditions. By 2024, Alabama's prison death toll had surged again, with Donaldson contributing significantly to the staggering total of 161 inmate deaths in just the first half of the year, many from suicide or overdose. As conditions continue to deteriorate, Donaldson has become emblematic of Alabama's prison crisis, a facility where simply being incarcerated can become a death sentence. Civil rights groups, lawmakers, and grieving families alike now describe these prisons, and Donaldson in particular, as death traps that demand urgent reform.
Now you have your